CTV News with Angela McKenzie.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. All this weekend, Quinn Farm is hosting a celebration of life for the patriarch Elwood Quinn, who died in January at the age of 78. Quinn was a passionate farmer who cared deeply for the land and loved sharing his knowledge. His farm, well known for its apple orchard, pumpkin patch, and animals, has long attracted visitors, including school groups, building lasting memories for generations. Christine Long reports.
Elwood Quinn. He loved his farm and his animals. Sharing his knowledge was his purpose and brought in lots of visitors. Elwood's son, Phil, says it's an emotional weekend.
All kinds of stories coming out of the woodwork and how he was a father figure to so many people.
Elwood's daughter, Terry, says this weekend was her dad's favorite on the calendar.
The spring gives us the opportunity to look forward into the next year, right? We're still full of possibility. So as much as we are mourning his passing as a family, and allows us to share with people who want to come and see the heritage animals that he loves so much.
Pam Heath was wearing a memento, an ear tag from one of Elwood's cattle from years ago. She says he had an extensive knowledge of animal breeds.
Actually, Elwood, that was one of his first jobs. He worked for cattle manufacturers, and that's identification of anything from fish to probably elephants, I'm not sure, but a lot of cows and sheep and whatnot.
Elwood worked so hard to manage and take care of and support rare breeds, domestic breeds of livestock.
Grandson Keith learned a strong work ethic from the patriarch.
He was always the guy doing chores in the barn. He took care of all the animals.
So he did have this well-earned reputation for being gruff.
Apparently, Elwood didn't suffer fools nor bureaucrats. But former employee Nancy LeBlanc says if you were neither, he was charming.
It was a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoyed Elwood because he's so kind and so warm.
Phil says his dad would approve of this gathering in his name.
Real happy to share the place with everyone and have everyone enjoy the beautiful weather this weekend.
There's that many people that valued him that much that they'd come out and pay tribute to him.
The family invites everyone to Quinn Farm on Sunday to remember the man who started it all. Christine Long, CTV News.
Today, riders got a free preview of the new branch of the REM. The L'Anse-à-Lorme line adds 4 new stations. Des Sources, Fairview-Pointe-Claire, Kirkland, and L'Anse-à-Lorme are now connected by over 14 kilometers of elevated track. The commute to downtown will now take 30 minutes or less, depending on where you get on. The official opening is Monday, but today people could ride for free.
Amazing, and 8 years of waiting finally over. I basically grew up around here, so I saw for the last 8 years this station slowly getting built, from going to high school, then break, then college. It's like, and then when 2023 came around, like in July, you know, I was excited.
I've been waiting it for 8 years. I mean, so I moved to Canada from Hong Kong, and I've been living here in the West Island. I've been waiting for it for 8 whole years, and it's finally here.
The opening comes at a great time as the light rail system has seen an increase in ridership due to the Bell Centre during the Stanley Cup playoffs. And that's where we find Kelly Gregg. The Montreal Canadiens can advance to the Eastern Conference Final tonight. And Kelly, it's their first playoff game this entire year that's on a Saturday night.
That's right, Angela. If you can believe it, the last time the Habs played to a full house, so not during COVID times, for a playoff game on a Saturday night, was back in April 2017. We've had 12 playoff games so far, not one of them on a Saturday night until now. So all eyes tonight will be on the man himself, Mr. Saturday Night. That is, of course, Cole Caulfield. Throughout the regular season, he had 51 goals. 21 of them came on a Saturday night. Now that's in addition to 14 assists. After a slower start to the playoffs, Caulfield has scored in 3 straight games. And you know what? Caulfield doesn't mind the nickname Mr. Saturday Night or the expectations that come with it.
It's not a bad nickname. I don't really mind it, but got to just live up to the name, I guess, when it counts.
We don't hate that, you know. Like we, you know, I think Cole is, you know, I think he loves the game, and I think, you know, an energy of a Saturday night at the Bell Center, does it raise the love of the game? I don't know, you know, but he finds himself in, you know, great situations on Saturday night for whatever reason, and it's fun to watch.
Finally, it's our first Saturday playoff game at home, so that's exciting. But I've learned throughout these playoffs that it feels like it's the same crowd no matter what the day is. It's the best building to play in, and Saturdays are always special, but I think during the playoffs it doesn't matter what day it is.
Speaking of the crowd, puck drop is in about 2 hours' time, but this is the crowd outside the Bell Center right now. Clearly an enthusiastic scene. In addition to it being Saturday night, it's also a potential elimination game, although it has started to rain a little bit, putting a damper a bit on the crowd. There's even more people here than normal, though. Currently, the series is at 3-2 for the Montreal Canadiens. So with a win tonight, they could eliminate the Buffalo Sabres. That means they would advance to the Eastern Conference Final. So will they do that tonight, or will we have another game on Monday? We will find out a little later tonight. And of course, Angela will have full highlights on our late show.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Kelly. That's Kelly Gregg live at the Bell Center. Well, another good reason to take public transit downtown for tonight's game, there are several road closures. Of course, the area around the Bell Center is congested, plus the eastbound lanes of the Ville-Marie and Viger Tunnel are closed until Monday morning. There's also overnight closures at the Turcotte interchange all weekend. All details are on CTV News Montreal.ca. Well, the Victoire took a commanding 2-0 series lead, beating the Ottawa Charge in overtime. Maggie Flaherty scored the game-winning goal in overtime off a nice setup from captain Marie-Philippe Poulin. The final score was 2-1. It's a best-of-5 series, so the Victoire only need one more to win the PWHL Walter Cup. Game 3 is Monday night in Ottawa. Well, a search is underway this weekend in Mont-Tremblant for Liam Toman, a 22-year-old man who was last seen in February 2025. A canine unit and dozens of volunteers are combing new areas in their search, and his family is doing everything in their power to ensure his name and face is out there. Denise Roberts reports.
All across Tremblant Village are posters, wristbands and flyers with Liam Toman's name and face. His family are here once again to refresh the search effort.
And now we're introducing the blue wristbands. And this is our circle of strength. And the strength comes from all of the community, all of the supporters that have been giving us the strength.
That community of support has widened to include friends, strangers, and some very determined canines from Search and Rescue Canada, a volunteer organization that trains dogs in cadaver detection.
We can provide you resources that not a lot of people have, so if we can do that and be there for the family, it's just really our goal.
The dogs were joined today by more than 90 volunteers, combing a new search area outside the village. But as skilled as these dogs are, there is very little information for them to go on. Liam Toman was last seen on this surveillance footage, leaving a bar at 3:20 a.m. on February 2nd, 2025. He never made it back to his hotel. His wallet was found in a parking lot a month later. Since his disappearance, his family has made the 6-hour trip from Whitby, Ontario to Mont-Tremblant more than 17 times to aid in the search.
It hits your heart because you're coming back and you don't want to come, but we're coming for Liam.
The family is working closely with SQ investigators, and a $50,000 reward has been set up. The family has also lobbied the town to have more camera surveillance in the village, something they say could have helped them find Liam.
There's been some changes in the security protocols and that, new surveillance cameras, everything else, and that's a win for us.
Liam's phone was never found, and the family is working with a digital forensic expert to trace it. The ground search will continue tomorrow, and the Tomans say they will continue to return here as long as it takes.
Any parent would do whatever they need to do to find their child.
And you keep moving because you know you're going to find the answers and you're going to solve this. We know we're going to find Liam.
Denise Roberts, CTV News.
A 16-year-old girl was seriously injured after her scooter was struck by an oncoming vehicle late Friday night in Quebec City. It happened in the Beauport borough just after 11 p.m. Quebec City police say the driver of the car was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol, causing bodily injury. Well, Montreal police say a man is facing several charges after he allegedly drugged 4 women without their knowledge before sexually assaulting them. A 29-year-old Jean-Philippe Ubda was arrested on Wednesday. According to police, the assaults happened between last August and January. Ubda allegedly met the women in bars and then invited them to his home. Investigators believe he might have other victims and are asking people with information to come forward. There are more details on our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Well, working in a kitchen can be demanding and stressful, and a recent study found pressures of the industry can take a toll. Lauren Fernandez reports.
Every morning kind of looks like this.
Chef Alexander De Prima has prepped ingredients, and the tables are set ahead of the lunchtime rush at Bistro Amerigo in NDG. Owner Stephen Marcone brings 30 years of experience to the table. But even he has felt the heat in the kitchen at times.
When you're in this type of environment, you're technically only good as your last plate. And so to be able to perform under that type of pressure, it's a lot for many people.
And it's taking a toll on those in the business, according to nonprofit The Burn Chef Project.
84% of people in the hospitality industry have had a mental health event of some sort. 7 out of 10 chefs have considered leaving the industry in the last couple of years.
And the organization is doing something about it, offering free mental health resources online.
We provide psychological evaluation and services.
The nonprofit is focused on prevention and intervention.
The Canadian Mental Health Association Mental Health First Aid course, for example, which is a simple program that teaches you how to recognize it in yourself and how to recognize it in others.
Marcone says he's seen the signs.
They're smoking excessively, smoking up, alcohol, gambling. They have some sort of alter ego just to kind of switch from one environment to the next because you're coming off of something so high paced.
And while the team at Amerigo can count on each other,
even though we're a small neighborhood restaurant, we have such a great team that we managed to manicure over the years that people can talk to.
That's not always the case at every restaurant.
We have to get to these people and teach them skills, self-care, self-awareness, how to ask questions, how to find community.
Continuing the mental health conversation.
It's okay to not be okay.
And serving up support. Lauren Fernandez, CTV News.
Premier Christine Frechette is on her second official visit to France, where she will meet with French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday. Minister of International Relations Christopher Skeet and Minister of Culture Mathieu Lacombe are with her. Frechette will be highlighting Quebec's defense and mineral sectors, hoping to increase exports to France. Well, with a July 1st deadline to review the Canada-US-Mexico agreement, new U.S. tariffs are set to take effect this next week, this time on Canadian mushrooms. As CTV's Jeremy Charon reports, the U.S. is the largest export destination for Canadian mushrooms.
So we got a room of creminis here, mini bellas, cafe. They've got
it's massive and modern.
This is about 4,300 square feet of growing space.
But family-run, this Ottawa area mushroom farm grows, harvests, and packages in-house. Carlton Mushrooms produces
300,000 pounds a week right now.
But new U.S. tariffs set to be imposed on Canadian mushrooms Monday will take a toll on Mike Medeiros' business, even though his mushrooms stay in Canada.
40% of the mushrooms in Canada are shipped to the U.S. And so what's going to happen as tariffs increase going to the U.S., it may keep more mushrooms within Canada, which then it would flood our market.
A fact sheet released this week by the U.S. Department of Commerce showed Canadian mushrooms will face new tariffs of up to 5%, citing unfair government subsidies.
They're the same in the United States as they are in Canada.
Known as countervailing duties, the tariffs are imposed on imports the U.S. deems are being unfairly subsidized, Similar measures have been used to tariff Canadian softwood lumber.
We've always been operating under the rules and regulations of the free and fair trade between Canada and the U.S. And so the reason that they identified this, I think, is really that they've not been able to find anything else.
Now, mushroom farms like this one, just the latest example of a clear signal being sent by the Trump administration targeting Canada's agricultural sector.
Ultimately, the U.S. farmer is very powerful politically. There's a broad trend to look at agricultural product flowing into the United States and apply tariffs where the U.S. Deems it important to do so.
Medeiros says this move will have an immediate impact on the Canadian mushroom industry, which exports almost exclusively to the U.S., and could force him to start producing less.
Once we cut back production, we would definitely have to look at cutting back staff to keep payroll in check.
Jeremy Charles, CTV News, Ottawa.
A Canadian isolating in BC has presumptively tested positive for Hantavirus after leaving the cruise ship affected by an outbreak of the virus.
Clearly, this is not what we hoped for, but it is what we planned for. This is what we call a presumptive positive, the test that was done at the BC CDC, and samples were sent to the National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg, and they arrived there today for confirmatory testing. So confirmatory testing results should be back, excuse me, later today and tomorrow. There's 2 different types of tests that are being done.
The patient started to develop mild symptoms 2 days ago, including fever and a headache. They were taken to hospital where the BC Centre for Disease Control confirmed a presumptive positive test result on Friday. Sir Anthony Hopkins appears to be in Montreal and is paying tribute to an iconic Montrealer. Hopkins, who is 88, posted a video to social media yesterday showing him dancing to Leonard Cohen's Dance Me to the End of Love with a mural of the late musician in the background. The video appears to have been taken from the Four Seasons Hotel. Turning to the weather now, it's 23 degrees in Montreal. Light showers are expected throughout the evening, then partly cloudy overnight. For tomorrow, another warm day in the forecast, sunny skies in the afternoon, and a high expected of 22 degrees. And we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud throughout the rest of the week, and temperatures could reach 28 on Thursday.
And a Lotto reminder, on tonight's Lotto 649 draw, you could win $46 million. Good luck.
When we return, massive protests in London, England.
Well, the society is divided, and a lot of it is a failure of last 40+ years of political decision-making.
Tens of thousands take to the streets in 2 rival protests. And another death in the Maldives following an Italian dive excursion gone wrong. Tens of thousands of protesters descended on London for 2 rival marches, sparking what police call one of their largest operations in years.
We've got to come today to make our presence known and to unite with our fellow like-minded people.
Thousands of pro-Palestinian demonstrators marched through central London commemorating Palestinians' loss of land in the 1948 war that followed the creation of Israel. And another protest being dubbed the Unite the Kingdom rally was organized by far-right figure Tommy Robinson. Supporters of Robinson marched through the streets calling on the government to preserve British identity and culture through immigration restrictions. Police deployed 4,000 officers, including reinforcements from outside the capital. Thousands protesting in Montgomery, Alabama are angry over what they call a coordinated assault on black voting rights. It comes as voters in Louisiana head to the polls after delaying the primaries amid a redistricting battle. Here's Ike Ajachi with the details.
Today, thousands gathering in Montgomery, Alabama, hoping to mobilize support for voting rights in the face of court rulings they say are diluting the voices of minority voters.
We have seen this before, where some people in black robes
try to deny or take away our rights.
Those protesters marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, where in 1965, a violent clash between law enforcement and civil rights activists galvanized support for passage of the Voting Rights Act.
This is the people's house.
The law prevented discrimination against minorities at the ballot box and helped to elect thousands of African Americans and Hispanics to all levels of government. But last month, a landmark Supreme Court ruling gutted a key protection of the Voting Rights Act, striking down a majority black congressional district in Louisiana.
I think this whole race baiting race issue on the redistricting has been put to bed finally once and for all.
Just yesterday, the Supreme Court rejected Virginia's bid to restore a congressional map that would have given Democrats a chance to pick up 4 seats in the House. And in Alabama, Republicans yesterday appealing to the U.S. Supreme Court to throw out a lower court ruling requiring a second majority black district. Democrats pushing back.
We're not going to stand by and allow them to move forward. We're going to win so that we can correct this mess that we're now in.
With an unprecedented race to redraw congressional lines across the country before November. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, New York.
U.S. President Donald Trump says the second in command of ISIS has been killed in an operation conducted by U.S. and Nigerian forces. Trump reported the death of Abu Bilal al-Mainouki on social media last night. He says American and Nigerian armed forces work together on the mission. Washington has deployed drones and 200 troops to support Nigeria against Islamic State and al-Qaeda-linked insurgencies across West Africa. An Israeli airstrike on Gaza City has killed at least 7 people, including a young child, as well as a senior member of Hamas. Israel says Izz al-Din al-Haddad was one of the architects of the deadly October 7th attacks. The airstrike destroyed a residential building and left dozens injured. The violence comes amid a shaky ceasefire that continues to hold despite accusations of violations of the agreement by both sides. Well, officials in Italy are investigating after several people were injured when a car drove into a crowd of pedestrians earlier today. Officials say it happened in the northern city of Modena. They say the speeding car hit pedestrians and that 8 people were injured. The city's mayor says the car then crashed into a shop window. The suspect allegedly got out of his car brandishing a knife before being overpowered by bystanders. The suspect is said to be in police custody. Well, a scuba diving accident that killed 5 Italian divers off the Maldives coast has now become more deadly. A Maldivian rescuer has died of decompression sickness after diving to recover victims trapped in an underwater cave about 30 meters down. An Italian researcher and 4 others, including her daughter, went missing on Thursday. All were experienced divers. One body was found shortly after, but the others remain underwater. Well, the U.S. is ramping up pressure on Cuba. CIA Director John Ratcliffe is visiting the island nation amid a worsening economic crisis. Alex Prashad reports.
The U.S. with a stern warning to Cuba, imploring the island nation to stop being a safe haven for countries like Russia and China. CIA Director John Ratcliffe delivering President Trump's message in person while leading an unannounced trip to Havana Thursday. The CIA saying the U.S. is prepared to engage with Cuba on economic and security issues, but only if Cuba makes fundamental changes. The Cuban government insists it poses no threat to U.S. national security, nor will it allow actions against any other nation to be carried out from Cuba, a sentiment echoed by their foreign minister in an exclusive interview with our Whit Johnson.
The Trump administration alleges that Cuba is rolling out the red carpet for foreign adversaries like Russia and China.
Cuba is not a threat to the U.S. National security or foreign policy or economy or the American way of life.
Ratcliffe's visit is happening in the midst of an economic crisis. The U.S. oil blockade and sanctions have caused a crippling energy shortage. Extensive blackouts across the country sparking protest. Cubans banging pots and shouting, "Turn on the lights." The frustrations growing over the country's energy grid, now on the verge of collapse. Many Cubans are without power up to 22 hours a day, getting by in the dark with car headlights and flashlights. This week, Cuba's energy minister declaring the country has no fuel and no diesel. President Trump has called Cuba a declining country in need of help. The U.S. State Department has made a public offer of $100 million in humanitarian aid, something Cuban officials are now mulling over. U.S. officials telling ABC News there are disagreements about how that money would be distributed.
Coming up, protecting yourself from ticks as you enjoy the outdoors. And the Big O gets a new funicular for an impressive view. It's that time of year when tick activity starts surging, and with that comes an increased risk of Lyme disease. With me now is Jade Savage, an entomologist and Bishop's University, and a leading Canadian researcher on ticks. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So I know Lyme disease can be very debilitating. It's something we want to avoid. But where exactly are you at risk of running into ticks in Quebec?
Well, in more and more places. And so the black-legged tick has really expanded its range in recent years. So it's no longer just the Montérégie or the Estrie region. So this year, for example, on the eTick platform, where we track where people submit ticks in the province of Quebec, the highest counts are in the greater Montreal area. So you can encounter ticks in parks, in your backyard garden, everywhere where there's a little bit of vegetation, trees, borders, a little bit of shade. Most of these habitats now are great for ticks, and especially if you're aware of deer in the area, then the probabilities of encountering ticks are even higher.
Right, and we know, Boucherville on the east end of the island, we do see a lot of deer. This time of year, nymphs are a big concern as well. What are they exactly?
So nymphs are sort of a smaller version of what most people are used to think about when we see pictures of ticks. And that is a major issue because both the nymphs and the adults are capable of transmitting the bacterium that causes Lyme disease. The issue is that the nymphs are very, very small and they tend to go unnoticed. So when an adult, which is almost as big as a sesame seed, starts feeding on you, and it will remain attached for several days, the odds are you will notice it because eventually it will be as big as a pea. The nymphs are as big as a poppy seed, very small. Even after they've been feeding for a few days, you might still not even notice them. And that is where the danger lies, because if you remove a tick quickly within 24 hours of attachment, the probabilities of contracting Lyme disease are very low. And so removing a tick quickly is key in preventing an infection. However, the nymphs are so small that often that is a stage that people won't notice.
So what can people do to protect themselves from a tick at either stage of life? And what should they do if they're bit by a tick, if they find one on them?
Okay, so so protection is very much personal protection. So, wearing your shoes and your socks on top of your pants, not pretty, but very efficient. You can use repellents. So DEET-based repellents, which work also for mosquitoes, are actually quite effective for ticks. So that is really good. You can also make sure that at the end of a day where you might have been exposed, you do a full tick check, meaning that you look yourself over, including the nooks and crannies, to make sure that there are no ticks attached that were not there in the morning. If you do find one there, unfortunately, then you have, the first thing is to remove it. You remove the tick, then if possible, you take a picture, and if you submit it to the eTick platform, so the website or the app, a member of my site, a member of my team will give you an answer as to what is this tick and what resources you should pursue in the province of Quebec. So what to do, is the tick you've encountered a problem? So we will provide that answer entirely free within 1 to 2 business days. And so that will give you very clear instructions following a tick bite.
And people can find that platform by Googling eTick?
Absolutely. eTick, or, on the, we have our app is both available in the Android and the Apple Store.
So in your research, Jade, are you seeing tick populations growing in Quebec?
Yes. So every year we are seeing more. Keep in mind that there are several species of ticks in the province and that things are cyclic. However, we are very much, the black-legged tick in the province of Quebec is definitely the most abundant. Year after year, it's about 60 to 80% of the ticks that people or their pets will encounter. So it is quite prominent. Its distribution has also expanded towards the north, towards the east. So it moves now almost up to Quebec City, further north than Montreal. And so it has really expanded its range. And where it was already present the last few years, it also tends to be more abundant. And so we are really seeing a rapid change in both the distribution and the abundance of that species.
All right, Jade Savage, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Have a good day.
Time now for In Case You Missed It. A dog has died of Parvo virus. It's setting off alarm bells among veterinarians who are now urging pet owners to make sure their dog's vaccines are up to date. Matt Gilmore reports.
At the Montreal SPCA, veterinarian Gabrielle Carrière says reports a dog has died of Parvo virus are worrying.
It's very deadly. More than half of dogs that get sick, if they have no immunity, they will die if they get no treatment.
You would know a dog has Parvo because he's vomiting and not feeling well. Yeah. This one seems fine.
Parvovirus attacks the immune and digestive systems. It's common in Montreal, but Carrière says thankfully a vaccine exists and is effective. But for dogs without up-to-date shots, it's easily spread.
It's in the feces, so if an infected dog walks around, and it can leave some viral particles in the environment. So it's on the floor, it's outside, it's everywhere.
At the Girard Park Dog Run in NDG, these dogs are all protected, but their owners say it's still something to keep track of.
I think he was vaccinated. He gets vaccines every year. I think he is vaccinated for it, but I'd be scared that he gets it anyways.
I'm not really worried, no. It doesn't seem like there's an epidemic of it happening right now. But if there does, then maybe I'll be a little more worried.
Both say allowing their dogs to run around and socialize is important, but plan on double-checking with their vet. Carrière says so far this year, the SPCA has not seen any cases in dogs, but has already treated 16 cats with the virus.
The parvo that infects dogs can be transmitted to cats, but the ones that cats get cannot be transmitted to dogs.
For Carrière, the fact a dog has died in Montreal does not necessarily mean there's more of the virus around. It's not new and can live in the environment for up to a year. But she says it's an opportunity to get a message out that could save families from heartbreak.
To speak to your vet, have your vaccines up to date, and your animals should be fine.
Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
The Pedestrian Mall along St. Catherine Street in the Village is open and marking its 20th anniversary. The section of St. Catherine Street is the first pedestrian-only area to be closed for the spring and summer season. It runs from Saint-Hubert to Papineau Avenue. One of the organizers says this summer the street will feature plenty of entertainment.
Starting this weekend, we have an all drag queen and king event, drag queen karaoke tonight, drag king and queen competition tomorrow, and then we have Mexican Pride coming up, Brazilian Pride, because that's a crowd who loves to party, so we're gonna have an all Pride weekend for them, a circus weekend with the Montreal Complètement Cirque. We have Fetish weekend coming up in September, of course Pride beginning of August. There's something happening almost every weekend.
Major work to revamp the street will begin this fall, and there are plans to make it pedestrian only year-round. Well, after being in operation for almost 4 decades, the Olympic Stadium's funicular is being replaced. The new piece of equipment has arrived and is being installed. The funicular has a partial glass floor and will take to the observatory. The roof of the tower will also be accessible for the first time. Visitors can walk out onto an outdoor terrace and take in the views of the city. Up next, it's barbecue season.
We've been having trouble with the igniter.
What should you do to get the grill ready for outdoor cooking?
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
An increasing number of abandoned buildings.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVMontreal.ca, your home for news.
For many people, the May-long weekend signals a time to fire up the barbecue. But if you haven't used your grill in a while, chances are it may need a good cleaning. Pat Foran has some tips.
Jo Hill-Ross felt it was time for her family to get a new barbecue.
We've been having trouble with the igniter. It won't light.
If you're using your gas grill for the first time this weekend, you'll want to make sure it's ready for another season.
This is a really good time of year to open up the grill, check out what it's been through over the winter, and give it a good wipe down.
If you didn't give your barbecue a good cleaning when you put it away for the fall, you may have some work to do.
Maintaining your grill is about more than just keeping it looking nice. It can actually make it safer and work better too. Things like failed igniters, leaking gas line, or a clogged burner are all typically things that you can fix, but they're also a big problem if you let them go unchecked.
To check your gas line for leaks, connect the propane tank, open the valve, and use a mixture of water and dish soap on the gas line and other parts. If you see any bubbling, that could mean you have a leak. You may need a new tank or replacement hose.
Make sure spiders haven't built webs inside of it over the winter, because if they have, lighting the grill can cause those to ignite.
Next, fire it up and check the burners. Yellow or uneven flames usually means a clogged burner. Turn off the gas and try cleaning the holes with a toothpick. Once the grill has cooled, if that doesn't help, you can replace the burners. If the igniter is clicking slowly, not at all, or not lighting the grill, it may need a new battery or have corroded contacts. If repairs are starting to add up, or if there's a safety issue, you may want to consider replacing your barbecue.
A lot of things can be fixed on a grill, but generally big problems like a rusty firebox mean it might be time to get a new grill entirely.
This Napoleon gas grill aces all of Consumer Reports tests, plus people who own it say they would recommend it to their family and friends. When cleaning your barbecue grates, don't scrub them with a wire brush. The small, sharp bristles can break off and stick to the grill racks and then to your food. If swallowed, they can cause serious harm. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Winning a NASCAR Canada race takes more than just 4 wheels and a big engine. It also comes down to talent. A young driver from Ottawa's career is off to a fast start. Peter Sperling has the details.
Start your engines and strap in. This is Ottawa's very own NASCAR Canada racing driver.
Hi, I'm Connor Bell, and this is my race car.
A high-performance, powered, adrenaline-inducing machine.
We sling it around the track at 260 kilometers an hour. We've got 32 cars racing us at a time, and we try and battle it out for the win.
And win he does. The 20-year-old beat everyone else during his first NASCAR Canada start last summer at Calabogie.
It made us only the second person in NASCAR Canada Series history to win on debut, so it was a pretty special event.
He's amped for more.
I do it for the adrenaline, honestly. It's the speed, you know, it always provides that adrenaline rush, and it never gets old.
Speed, that comes from power and skill.
It's pretty crazy. It's a lot of horsepower. There's no traction control or ABS in these things. Quite the ride, and you got to manage that power through all 4 gears.
He got into this from his father.
He's been racing most of his life, and naturally when I was young, I was at the track from I think 2 years old onwards.
But how do you learn to drive this and race? Some start with karting. For Bell,
I've had a little bit of a different path developing as a race car driver. I did most of my development on racing simulators, so that's kind of where I learned all the basics.
Racing is an expensive sport. He says a typical car costs near $200,000. That's where a title sponsor, Diamond Storage, representing the Diamond Foundation, comes in.
We were only able to do this because of our wonderful sponsors.
He's kicking off this season at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Bowmanville near Toronto, and enthusiastic about this season.
Really looking forward to putting on a show.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Hyrox is the latest competition craze exploding all over the world, and now it's in Ottawa. Camille Wilson reports.
Firefighters Danny Grant and Ryan Brissett are up for a new challenge.
It helps keep us fit. We work on the same crew, so it's good for that.
Be active, mental health, something to look forward to, just to keep you going every day.
Hyrox is a fitness event unlike any other, part race, part gym class. It consists of 8 kilometers of running, but each kilometer is separated by a functional fitness station. Think burpees and lunges, farmer's carry, sled push and pull, and more. To finish, 100 wall balls that will make you weak in the knees.
We call it the World Series of Fitness Racing. It's really like a sport for people that go to the gym all the time. It's something that everybody can do. We have a 99.6% finish rate. Anyone that starts it finishes it.
More than 13,000 athletes participating.
I was really excited to do it. I missed out last time, so yeah, I had some serious FOMO. So I'm here today and excited.
Grant and Brissett driving from Oshawa and Mississauga for this event. This is their first time participating in Hyrox, and the atmosphere here is part of the draw.
We're trying to do a respectable time, have fun at the same time, but be competitive 100%. With ourselves.
I'm just here for the fun. Go out there, run, and get my heart out. That's it.
Right.
Hyrox holds events in more than 30 countries around the world. It has just recently taken hold in Canada, first with competitions in Vancouver and Toronto, and now for the first time in Ottawa.
I just wanted to challenge myself. I look to empower myself. I've seen a lot of people doing Hyrox over the last 2 years, and I was inspired, so I said this year I was going to train and give it a shot.
For Siobhan Hopkinson, it's embrace the race and then embrace some much-needed recovery.
I feel cooked. I'm done. My feet are swollen. My joints are sore. So I need to get an ice bath and a sauna and stretch. So the key is electrolytes. I should have taken a lot more electrolytes.
My dad. It's easy to push yourself here with spectators cheering. The atmosphere is electric. For some, it's just about finishing.
A good goal to work towards. And it's going to teach my kids that we can do hard things.
For Grant and Brissett, this is just the start.
Feel good, like we could do it again. He crushed it, I crushed it.
Killed it.
We're proud that we stuck through it and kept each other going.
100%.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
The University of British Columbia is playing a major role in helping create one of the world's largest telescopes that will allow scientists to see the universe like never before.
It is our first opportunity to get access directly to such a giant telescope, and that allows Canadian astronomers to do new observations in order to make new discoveries.
The Extremely Large Telescope, or ELT, will feature a 39-meter wide mirror, becoming one of the most powerful optical and infrared telescopes ever built. Canada will be able to access this telescope thanks to an $11 million grant to build a component for the telescope led by UBC. The telescope is being built in Chile and is expected to be ready for use at around 2030. Well, still to come, a little boy with a big imagination.
Why are you filming my feet?
Spreading a message. It's okay to think differently. A little boy with a big imagination has a knack for finding stories wherever he goes. With the help of his mom, he started a magazine with the goal of showing people the beauty in thinking differently. Adam Sawatsky has the story.
Like all good reporters, Clement Gray is full of questions.
Why are you filming my feet?
And will do whatever it takes to get an answer.
Ow!
Like our prickles actually prickly.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Seeing as Clement's dogged investigations have uncovered the truth about this neighborhood cat,
That cat loves to invade houses.
and the 7-year-old's nose for news knows no bounds,
This hole's new.
the hole is new?
Yeah.
Clement's mom, Jessime Tedley, agreed to help him publish his reporting.
Whenever he, showed an interest in anything I could frame as loosely academic, we would just kind of go for it.
The magazine's title was inspired by Clement's nickname, Lemon, and the first issue featured coverage of a birthday party.
So I could tell people who weren't invited about it.
Clement reported that cupcakes were served, balloons popped, and one girl cried during a game to get a goodie bag.
But just random things will sort of catch his imagination, and he'll want to tell people about them. That's how we decide what the next one's going to be.
Seeing as Clement is on the autism spectrum and has ADHD, his process is unique.
Some guy is recording me right now.
He dictates his reporting, his mom types it verbatim, then he chooses pictures to illustrate the article before she posts it online.
Yeah, that one's good.
That one's good?
Clement has reported that deer crossing sidewalks are adorable. When his little sister falls off her bike onto the sand, it sounds like zoom, then flop. And in an article titled Bottle Butt, mums who store water bottles in the back of their pants can be both funny and fashionable.
That one was a hot one with the under 7 set for sure.
If you ask Clement why he does this, he'll tell you it's to show how fun and cool it feels to be neurodivergent.
Seeing it from a different point of view.
A different point of view that Clement is distributing in a different sort of way by printing out tiny QR codes and sticking them to little free libraries for people to find, which leads to his latest article advising readers that scanning random QR codes can lead to viruses.
Maybe potentially dangerous.
Like all good reporters, Clement will never stop searching for unique angles to report on news you can use.
I'm pretty excited.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Taking a final look at the forecast, it's 23 degrees in Montreal. Light showers expected throughout the evening, then partly cloudy overnight. Tomorrow, another warm day in the forecast. Sunny skies in the afternoon and a high expected of 22. And we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud throughout the rest of the week, and temperatures could reach 28 on Thursday. Well, that's it for us. We'll be back at 11:30. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.